everyone, welcome back to the layout, the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for a special midweek video on unboxing my latest haul from Lombard Hobbies. Definitely one of the more exciting aspects of being in a hobby such as model railroading, being able to get some new models, bringing them into the basement and putting them on the layout. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, and might even want to ring the bell for notifications so you know when the latest video is coming out. Definitely very much appreciated. If you've been watching closely this train going by, you may have picked up on what exactly I picked up from Lombard Hobbies, because it's basically rolling past you. It's an upgrade on my intermodal trains. All right, here's the package from Lombard Hobbies. Comes in a Cottle box. I always am curious what box I'll get, what manufacturer it will be, what manufacturer it will be from. This one's from Cottle, but nothing inside this box is from Cottle. Definitely had a lot of items from Cottle on my N-scale layout. That was a huge supplier for N-scale locomotives and rolling stock and so forth. Have just a few items on the layout from Cottle, but here we have in this box, delivered the very next day after I ordered it, which is always nice, a big, huge assortment of items. What do I take out first? That I've been picking up kits as I go along. These kits here, this is $25.99. I'm picking these up for the town of Morgan, trying to get some strip mall, old-looking strip mall buildings. This is actual Morgan here, so you kind of see what I'm shooting for. So here's a couple of kits that I add. I have a few already, but I want to get those at some point. $25.99. Best price out there for these items. All these things that I'm getting regular is $51.98. I didn't realize it was that high. But anyway, definitely am confident that I always have the best prices. I do have a special item in there, as you can maybe already recognize. Now, before we get to the rest of the items, here's the train. Now, it looks like the same one at the beginning of this video, but it's not. See if you can pick up on the differences and pick up on what I did not like about this intermodal train. Some features of it that make it not prototypical for Union Pacific intermodal traffic. There's two different aspects, and I'll give you a hint. Both of them have to do with the containers. There's two things that I wanted to kind of change and do a little differently so that it would more realistically depict intermodal trains on the layout. All right, to help you decide what I'm talking about, here's an actual Union Pacific train going through the Evanston sub. This is at the Taggart Mountains, actually. My layout has the Taggart Mountains and the bridges that you just saw, and I'm also going to have the little interstate highway going over the tracks there as well. So it's going to hopefully really do a good job of looking like this. Now, this is a bunch of auto racks right now, but they are followed by a bunch of stacked trains. And see if you can pick up on how my original train that you just saw was very different from this train here in two main aspects. Again, it has to do with the containers. I am going to have the scene on the layout. In fact, that's what I'm working on right now. If you've been following the updates, this is the Taggart Mountains, the 2 tunnels going through the Taggart Mountain, and then the Weber River going through the scene also. I still haven't quite got the rock molds on, but I am going to be working on that very soon. Definitely a lot of intermodal traffic goes through this area. So I have only 2 intermodal trains. They probably make up a little bit more of the percentage of trains going through, but I only have so many staging tracks. And I wanted to make sure I had cold trains and tank trains and auto racks and all that kind of stuff too. I might mix them up a little bit. One thing I've been thinking about is not only making a big change on my containers, but from time to time just taking all the containers off of or out of the wells and then putting them back in a different order. So I've been kind of trying to watch different trains and seeing how they're arranged, whether they're all the same container company or if they're different. But hopefully you may be able to pick up on what it is. If you're watching during the premiere, you may have already commented what it is. I'm going to give it away here real soon. You're going to see what the difference is and the change that I made. This is definitely going to be a cool scene on the layout once I get it done. Alright, here is again the same train going by that you just saw on my layout. And the answer is I have way too many white containers. There are very few white containers on Union Pacific trains. I don't know, not sure if that's a Western United States thing compared to the Eastern United States, but I do believe there's more white containers on CSX and Norfolk Southern, and not so much on Union Pacific and BNSF. There's 32 white containers. I think that counted those up right. 32 white containers on here. And the other aspect here, I only have one well that has less than 2 containers. So I have a ton of white containers here. 32 out of like 88. That's a pretty big percentage. So from Lombard Hobbies, I ordered a bunch of dark colored containers, and I got them from 3 different manufacturers. These here are from Aurora Miniatures. You can see the part that this is. This is a Seco one. I'm not sure if UP. I've been trying to look really hard. I think it's. I did some research on it. It is a international container company that does operate in the Pacific Ocean, so definitely feasible that it would be on the Union Pacific. And this is CAI, which I know is on Union Pacific railroads. Those are from Aurora Miniatures. And then I got a bunch from Athearn. Again, dark colored EMP, lots of EMP, tons of hub group. Cannot get enough hub group. The ones that I see the most are hub group, EMP, Pacer trains, K-line. There's also a very common one here. You can see the price on these is $36. I tried to, at one time, try to get them for $10 each, but it's kind of hard to do that anymore. unless you get them used. And by the way, I will probably have my white containers for sale on my Square website. I'll announce when that's going to be available. So I will sell them. I'll probably sell them for $10 a piece. So it'll be a good chance to pick up some if you model the east side of the United States, or this one here is by Jacksonville Terminal Company. These are expensive. These are $15 a piece, $45 for these three. I wasn't really sure what it was that made them worth the extra cash. The only thing that I could see, they did have a lot of detail on the truck ends, on the doors, and seemed to have a little bit more decaling. Now, I also picked up some passenger trucks, which might be a surprise to you. You might be thinking, why did I pick up some passenger trucks? These are from Walther's Proto. And the reason why I picked them up is because we had a bit of a mishap on the layout. The excursion train derailed without me knowing about it. And they just kind of slightly shorted out. And that's never a good thing when they slightly short out, because then it just sits there, does not trip the breaker, and then gets very hot. And basically, I melted three trucks there, and also melted the underbody of the passenger cars. But that was not an issue. Was able to get them running again with just replacing the trucks. Now, also getting some walkways here as well. Don't want to get this stacked up too high here. These are industrial walkways and stairs. I'm going to be using these at the West Vaco Trona mine and processing plant, and then also the Wholesome Cement plant. It's going to be used for workers to walk along the covered hoppers and go onto the hoppers and open and close hatches. So that's going to be part of the detailing for the those industries. Got a fruit snack. And then, of course, for some reason I can't help myself from picking up a locomotive whenever I order something. This is another SD70 ACE, and I picked this one up because it's kind of cool that it's one of the very few, if not the only, SD70 ACE that was painted without the American flag on it. So it's kind of a unique item, and timing-wise, it's kind of fits into my era. For what I could see doing some research is that they put the American flag back on these units in 2016. And they also put on the PTC antennas somewhere around 2014 or so. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the dome antenna that it has and replace it with PTC antennas. You can see all the stuff that comes with Athearn locomotives, and then of course here is the actual locomotive. I go back and forth between scale trains and Athearn. I like both of them quite a bit. Scale trains are kind of my favorite, mainly because I like the ESU decoders, and they're a little bit heavier. But the Athearn has great detail, and they run extremely well. Scale trains also run well, but I've had a couple of units that I've had to send back to scale trains because their motors gave out. But here you can see it without the American flag, and you can see all the great detail that it has. SD70 ACEs. Now it sounded like this unit actually had the American flag on one side and then not on the other side. So I'm not sure what the real story is there. I'm not sure why Athearn wouldn't have done that also. But one more locomotive. This should be my last one. I don't know if it will be. All right, here's the total haul from Lombard Hobbies. This is going to be it for a while, maybe. We'll see. The more you guys like the video and watch the videos and become members and so forth, gives me more opportunities to add more things to the layout. So your participation is not only encouraged, but also welcomed and appreciated. All right, here we have our new ACE ST70 ACE locomotive. You can see the dome antenna that's going to be removed eventually. But pulling the new stack train with more prototypical containers. So I think I'm down to only 4 white ones. Now, if you go back to the prototype, it did have a few white containers still. I think I saw only 2 on the whole train. I have 5, I think, on this one. The rest of them are all dark. And I also included some wells with containers just in the bottom, which you usually will also see on the prototype. So now we have a much more prototypical Union Pacific Railroad intermodal train carrying domestic containers, 53 foot, I think it's some 45, 48s, and 53 footers here, which are generally speaking for domestic transportation. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please subscribe and like the video. Comments are always welcome. Really appreciate all your support. And definitely stay tuned for this Sunday. I'm going to be putting some rock molds on the Taggart Mountain, which you saw in this little video clip here. And maybe even get some ground cover, paint and ground cover on as well. So stay tuned for that this coming Sunday. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Take care.